You know, the British ruling class used to have a bit of finesse. They used to know that the tall tree has to bend with the wind, else it would break. The British ruling class, once upon a time, had at least a passing acquaintance or resemblance with James Bond. Now they're Mr. Bean. Now they are Austin Powers. How could it be otherwise on this anniversary of Thunderbirds, where we have a clanking, robotic, soulless, heartless, and it would appear brainless Prime Minister, Home Secretary, and government? They have now arrested hundreds of people, including an 83-year-old woman priest, an Anglican priest, wearing her dog collar. They have arrested headmasters of prestigious schools. They have arrested old people, young people, men, women, for the crime of speaking, or rather for the crime of holding a piece of cardboard, in one case with a cartoon from the satirical magazine Private Eye, read by every single one of the idiots who wrote the law that transformed a group of mischief makers. You, depending on your point of view, could call them malicious mischief makers. The kind of people who lock themselves to railings, you know, like the Suffragettes. Remember them? Yvette Cooper, the women that won you the vote, the right to sit in Parliament, and now be the Home Secretary in a Labour government. Remember them? You were wearing their rosette and their flash, whatever it is you call it, just the other day. You idiots have called malicious mischief makers terrorists. The kind of people who go in for peaceful civil disobedience. You have called them terrorists. Well, the British people are now showing that up with this they will not put. And they are ready to be arrested in their tens at first, then their scores, now in their hundreds, soon in their thousands, then in their tens of thousands. What are you going to do then? There aren't enough jail cells. There aren't enough police officers. There aren't enough court officials. What are you going to do when tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people have committed the offence for which you arrested 76-year-old pensioners leader Audrey White in Liverpool? You'd need to know Liverpool. You'd need to know Audrey White. Maybe you'd need to know the historic Labour figure of Bessie Braddock, with her arms folded, Les Dawson-like. In the case of Bessie, with a turban. Audrey White has rather more style and panache, as befits someone who actually made Labour history back in the 1960s and was played by the late and great Glenda Jackson in the Hollywood movie of The Affair. She's 76 now, but she still wears that red lipstick, and she's still a battling fighter for good cause. A battling fighter for the pensioners as before the workers, and a battling fighter for the Palestinian people in Gaza. You've arrested her. What are you going to do with her? You're going to put her in court? You think a jury in Liverpool is going to convict Audrey White? Are you crazy? You think a judge is going to send her to prison? Did you people not even think this through? I never went to university. I left school at 16. I could have told you every single thing that has happened would happen. But then you don't listen to anybody except the Israeli embassy in London that encouraged you to do this. You are entirely beholden to the Israeli embassy in London, representing a man in Tel Aviv, Benjamin Netanyahu, who's just gone sick with food poisoning. Pray for the bacteria, won't you? the Israeli government is now responsible, televised, Hollywood style, in Technicolour, if that's still a thing, to everybody in the whole world. An actual Holocaust. We've all seen it. We are all watching it, although it's getting worse and worse. We have become, I'm sorry to say, familiar with the slaughter of the innocent children. But today I saw an old man literally die on camera as he got to the front of the queue of the feeding station without being murdered whilst he stood in the queue like 50 or more others today and virtually every day. He expired on camera from starvation in 2025. Millions of people have watched a tweet that I put out, 3.5 million and counting, of a woman whom my director said to me, the old woman, no, she's not an old woman, she's a young woman, but she looks like a woman in Auschwitz or Birkenau or Belsen. She looks like what we used to call a Belsen horror. She's so starved, emaciated, that this video is 5 days old. She's probably dead now too. She hadn't eaten for 5 days. She complained she was feeling dizzy. I don't know if she has children. I don't know if she's been giving up any possibility of food so that her children might eat. Or maybe they have starved to death too. 80 people today in Gaza died of hunger. How more strongly do I have to put that? Just minutes away from where that old man, in fact, not even 2 minutes away from where that old man starved to death, that you've just seen die, there's a gate. And beyond that locked gate are hundreds of thousands of tons of food and water and medicine, which Israel is refusing to allow through the gate. Shame on them, curse on them, yes. But the bigger shame, and my, at least, bigger curse, is on the rest of the world who is allowing this shitty little country, as the French president once called it, of just 8 million people, starve millions to death, whilst locking out the food, water and medicine that would keep them alive. The shame is on you, Keir Starmer, Donald Trump, Joe Biden before you, Emmanuel Macron, Merz, Meloni, all of you. The shame is on you. Actually, let me go further. The shame is on China and Russia too. It's on the whole world, all the governments of the world. You wouldn't even have to smash that gate down. You could push it down with your finger and say, we are coming in because there is a biblical famine in occupied territory, illegally occupied territory. There is a biblical famine taking place on the other side of this door, and we cannot be responsible for allowing it to happen. That would be like knowing what was happening in Auschwitz and being in a position to bring it to a halt, but refusing to do so because the gangster regime responsible for it will call you an anti-Semite if you raise your voice, raise your hand against it. So for me, Of course, that poisonous runt, Netanyahu, is the man responsible for the mass killing of men, women, and children, hundreds of thousands of them. But the bigger criminals are the people who are allowing him to do it, when it is in their power immediately to end it. I'm sorry if I sound angry. I am beyond myself with anger at the situation in Gaza today. And Mr. Churchill used to write, he was the first man ever to use post-it notes. He used to write on folders, files, binders, action this day. If these Western governments don't take action this day, that woman will be dead, just like that man is dead. And all the other men, women, and children who are starving to death right now, never mind the shot and shell and rockets and bombs. Never mind the hundreds of thousands who have been murdered and maimed and set on fire. Never mind that. The millions that are literally starving to death in front of your eyes. And you are doing nothing about it. I don't know if there's much more I can say about that. I'm saying and doing everything that I can, but clearly it is not enough. And therefore, the people that you've classed as terrorists and who are going to have spent 18 months in prison before they even get to trial, yes, the process is the punishment. You know why? Because they know that there is no jury is going to convict them. So they drag it out so that the people have already untried spent a year and a half in prison before they're acquitted by yet another 12 good men and women and true, their peers in a jury in front of the courts. Everybody that's been arrested is going to be cleared by a jury. And therefore, you better start building new prisons, Keir Starmer, because you are in for an explosion in the number of people you're going to have to arrest and lock